can break it down into two: effects on the mother and then effects on the child as well. So when we talk about medical effects when it comes to the mother, pregnant teens have a higher risk of getting high blood pressure, also known as pre-eclampsia. That's high hypertension during pregnancy, and normally it's between 20 weeks. It starts between 20 weeks. You realize that, high blood pressure normally, sometimes most women have it during pregnancy, but we tend to see that teenagers suffer most of this kind of high blood pressure because their bodies are not ready to cater for a baby or to bring a baby into the world. So you realize that when they get pregnant at that young age, their blood level, pressure starts shooting up, it goes up. And this type of hypertension or high blood pressure is very dangerous if not, taken care of medically. It can lead to death for the mother, both mother and baby. Yeah, so when a teenager gets herself pregnant, these are some of the dangers regarding to the mother, that the mother is likely to get. She gets high blood pressure. Also, they have a risk of anemia, them getting anemia. Like the high blood pressure, anemia is common during pregnancy, but in teenagers, this one is also higher. The tendency of you getting anemia is very high because you haven't gotten a lot of nutrients for yourself, let alone for the baby who is dependent on you also. So you tend to see that mothers under this category also gets anemia. They lose blood quickly. They are they're underweight. Their blood is just dropping like that. And if care is not taken, this also can lead to death. Anemia can also cause death. Okay, so we also have them developing STDs, that's sexually transmitted diseases. For a teenager who really is not into sex, or for one reason or the other, a pregnancy came out. If she's not coached on what to do, and she keeps going back for sex even though she's pregnant, the tendency for her to acquire any sexual transmitted disease is high. Yes. There's also depression or postpartum depression. The depression can be before or during the pregnancy, and then after the pregnancy. For depression during pregnancy, as a teenager, you have no idea what pregnancy is all about. The things that go into pregnancy can make anybody fall under depression. Okay, and if care is not taken, this depression puts the mother and baby at risk. Postpartum depression, which is depression after pregnancy, also happens when after pregnancy you don't get anybody to really support you to cater for yourself and then the baby, and virtually you're running around doing everything yourself. You end up falling under depression. There's no two ways about that because help is not coming from anywhere. So instead of concentrating on yourself and taking care of yourself, you end up falling under depression. You're always depressed, which is not good for your health and then for the baby. When you are depressed, the body cannot even produce breast milk, let alone you feeding your baby. When it happens like that, you are not catering for yourself, and then you end up putting the baby also at risk. We have also stress. Any teenager who gets herself pregnant, is always under stress. Like I said earlier, in connection to the depression, if you don't get anybody to support you, there's no support system anywhere, then you are doing everything virtually yourself. Every time you'll be stressed up. You're always stressed up. And then we also have mood swings. Pregnancy in itself comes with a lot of mood swings. You see that today you're fine, tomorrow you're off. Today you're in a good mood, tomorrow you're in a bad mood. Okay. And for adults, most adults, and even though it's not easy, they can control themselves better. But a teenager who is now coming up doesn't know what to do at a given point. So the mood swings. Today she's okay, tomorrow she's not okay. It makes the pregnancy itself stressful. Okay. We also have mental exhaustion or fatigue. A teenager who gets herself pregnant, for the mother, we realize that she's always tired. Pregnancy comes with tiredness, fatigue, and for a child who has gotten herself pregnant, mentally it's not even good for you. You realize that you are always thinking, especially if there's no support coming from anywhere. You're always stressed that you're tired. The little thing you do, you're tired. And then you also do not know what to do at a given point in time. So these are some of the medical challenges or medical dangers concerning teenage pregnancy for a mother. And then we also have medical risks for the baby as well. Babies born by teenagers are usually born prematurely. This can have negative effects on the baby's development. Realize that babies who are born to such mothers usually would have a lot of infections. Sometimes if the baby is born prematurely, that is born before due time, the due date, you realize that the baby most of the time is getting sick every now and then. The tenderhood or the likelihood for the child to get infections is very high. They also get respiratory diseases later in life. And the most babies that are born to teenage mothers are usually 99.9% of the time are always underweight, because they weren't born at the right time. They are usually underweight. They also tend to have anemia as well, because they are not getting the nutrients they should be getting from the mother, because the mother herself hasn't got enough to share. Okay, so if you are fortunate and you even are born, now you're going to lack certain nutrients which the mother is unable to give you. Then they also are at a risk of bleeding in the brain. There's also the tendency of babies getting infant jaundice, and then they also have low immunity. That is, they are unable to fight diseases here and there. That is why they are prone to infections. There's a higher rate of infant mortality because most times they are born prematurely. If they are not given proper medical attention, they end up dying at a very tender age. There's also a disease called cerebral palsy. Babies are likely to get this kind of medical disease also. They tend also to have breathing problems or asthma. And then also we have feeding difficulties. Children who are born prematurely, most of the times will be kept under watch and care. Sometimes they put them in incubators and all. So you see, feeding becomes a problem. They end up getting support from the support in the incubator. The mother doesn't have bonding with the child.